Hello everybody, welcome to Tpull's Corner. Hope you're having a good day. Today I'm going to do a jump-in battle with a deck that I didn't create because it's jump-in. It's called Teeny Mice. Now normally I just tend to play one of these and then you'll get the prize and then you go on and probably resign and start just a whole new jump-in. But every once in a while you get a deck you enjoy. So I thought I would share this. I don't usually play the jump-in ones and make videos out of them, but... Oh, we're against Lone Survivor too. Excellent. But I know there are a lot of people that are still relatively new to the game, and I want to make sure that I pointed out that this is a good way to get cards, especially from the newer expansion if you don't have them yet. The whole premise of the jump-in decks is the Wizards of the Coast people. Again, I think I want to put out something on the first turn. We'll put out the Flowerfoot Swordmaster. Or do I? Yeah. The offspring mechanic is kind of like Kicker. And I always feel the first tendency to want to save it. But I think you got to be careful about that. Okay. Yeah, let's go. I want to do something else too, so we'll put out Blacksmith's Talent. No attacks just yet. Yeah, so Wizards of the Coast, the whole premise of Jump-In is they make these sort of half decks, and then they give you a choice of the first three. You pick one of those three, and that'll be the first half of your deck. And then they give you another choice of three other half decks, and you make your second choice, and they mash up those two. And so what I had is I had Bloomberry for one, and I had Duskmorn for the other. And the synergy between these decks turns out to be pretty good because the teeny one is Duskmorn, and then Bloomburrow was the mouse. And the mouse mechanics are good enough, I guess you would say, that you don't need to worry about the other half of the deck. I mean, the mice are so good with synergy together. It's just phenomenal. But the way that they interact with some of these other creatures from Duskmorn actually does make for a good combination. And you wonder how much testing that there is between all these jump-in decks, because there's a lot of different choices by now. And you know they don't have time to play all of them. But they do their best to design this half deck so that it can sort of be a coherent play in and of itself as much as a half deck can be. But then no matter which other half that you join it to, there'll be some interesting combinations and things that you can do. And they already got everything they wanted, so they're too tough for us right away. Do I want to attach that now? Yeah. We'll just pump this up. Put it in the next land. Automatically attach. And now as long as he can't pump up the Spellbook Vendor, maybe I'll double block. Although if he's willing to attack without having any lands tapped, that probably means he might have a combat trick. We're not starting off to the best start necessarily compared to... Oh no! We really aren't. It seems like one of those things where they have everything that they need and we're stuck already. This deck is really meant to be fast and aggressive, so it kind of hurts that we're on the defensive already. Alright, I think we start with a 3-3. We switch to combat, make this the 4-4. I do think I have one spell that gets rid of enchantments, so we'll see if this makes any sense. We tapped out to put that down, so we don't need to worry about being tapped down just yet. But he may want to make the trade, as it is. He was not. Okay. Double strike and haste for those, but See, this is all at the beginning of combat on my turn. I guess we'll just do this now. Keep it on that. And I feel like he's going to tap me down anyway, so I might as well just do this. They'll probably block with the Market Gnome. No, they take it. Okay, I got a jump blocker. Okay, that's an artifact. Ah, shoot. They got two versions of removal, and I've got nothing to interact with yet. I'm nearly dead. Alright, we'll block there. Alright, we got a 5-2 out of it. This one has haste too, as a matter of fact, but I feel like it needs to be on the defensive. Okay, so now they're jump blocking. Well, I think we double block this puppy. And we get rid of that puppy. I think it's okay to attach that there. And then we got double strike. And I'm going to have to double block with, or just going to have to jump block with the Heartfire Hero, but I should be able to use the damage to take out Dawn Runner, even if they stick the hammer on it. The question is, if they have a tap spell, I'm pretty much dead. What else can we do? They can sacrifice that to scry, or they can craft that? No, they can turn that into... Okay, they are going to craft. And I think they got me with that, right? No, okay. They used that to crew it. So I can still block it and I'll still be alive. For one more turn, anyway. They can still equip the hammer. What else can they do? They're taking a long time to think about things. Oh, never mind, I'm dead. Yeah. Yeah, you got two attackers. Oh, wait, why didn't they attack with that? Is that... Oh, because it has summoning sickness because they just made it? They just crafted it? So maybe that was their kind of mistake? And that goes to opponent. I didn't get to direct it there where I thought I might. Okay, we have that one has haste. They're all tapped. Can I afford the offspring? No, I can't. I can only afford one. let's attach this to the Mentor. We'll target this puppy, and that activates both of them. Get a 1/1 counter for that, and we'll give... Oh, never mind. So we pulled it out. We won. They didn't seem to think that we could have a haste attacker. All right, let me go in and do the deck tech. This probably won't take quite as long as a normal deck because we've only got 40 cards. Okay, so 70 creatures, 79 creatures. Notice the average is still close to the 3.0. They do that on purpose when they design these. And 16 lands is all you need just about for a 40-card deck. Before I get to the deck tech, I did want to point out I do have a new poll up. So if you go to my page on YouTube and we go to posts, what I want to do is start talking about some of the larger aspects of the game. There's been, I mean, you've heard about the Commander Rules Committee resigning, Wizards taking over, some people debating about Duskmourn in the direction of Magic the Gathering, the growing influence of Commander. There's all sorts of different topics that I want to start talking about. There are some channels where they just sit and talk straight at the camera for the entire time, and there's no gameplay. This channel has always done the gameplay, so I wanted to leave it up to you because I think I can do it either way. But you're the ones choosing to spend your time with me, so I wanted to leave it up to you to do the vote. Do you still want to see me playing a match with a deck while I talk about some of these larger concepts? So it's just a simple A-B binary type thing, right? Yeah, I always want to see gameplay no matter what when you're coming here. Or maybe you just want to hear about the more philosophical comments or the greater commentary about the state of the game and where it's going and my observations and that sort of thing. So I'll leave it up to you. Go ahead and vote there. I'll leave it up for the rest of October. And then now, back to the deck tech. Let's see, we got 2 Windscarred Crags to gain life, and that's it for the nothing really tricky on the lands. We've got Bravekin Duo, just a 1/1 rabbit and mouse. And don't ask how you got the rabbit and mouse combined. But target creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. You activate it only as a sorcery. It's a team. It's a duo. That's how you got them. The Flowerfoot Swordmaster Mouse Soldier, 1/2 with Offspring, so you can pay 2 extra. So that would be a total of 3 to get the token. And whenever the creature becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, mice you control get +1 until the end of the turn. Blacksmith's Talent. Create a colorless equipment artifact token you see to the right named Sword. It's very simple. They just call it Sword. It just gives you 1/1. Very elementary type thing. But for level 2, you can attach the target equipment to up to 1 target creature control. This is from the same expansion. It's still from Bloomberry. So there's a lot of cards in here, especially with like the mice, where if it's the target of an ability for the first time each turn, it gives you an advantage. So here, Blacksmith's Talent plays directly into that for this level 2. At the beginning of combat each turn, you put it on something that benefits from being the first time an ability hits it for that turn. And you get to pump them up or do some other special benefit. And then finally, for 4 mana, you can put it up to level 3. All equipped creatures have double strike and haste. So this is kind of a double strike and haste deck. Heartfire Hero, the Mouse Soldier, also has Valiant. Is it Valiant or Valiant? It's Valiant. When he becomes target of spell or ability for the first time, you get a +1/+1 counter on it. Plus, when it dies, deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. So if you can pump it up a couple of times, say make it a 3/3, it'll deal 3 damage to the opponent when it dies. Bear Trap. This is sort of a reskinning of a very old card. Artifact, you can flash it in for only 1 mana, but you can spend 3 and tap it. It can deal 3 damage to target creature. So you could use this as a combat tactic on your opponent's turn when they're attacking you. But I must say the artwork is kind of cool, and the flavor text is kind of cool. So this is probably one of the better reskins I've seen of a very old Magic card. So I kind of like the creativity in the sense that even though it is a reprint, it's not bad to look at. It's kind of nice. It's still very useful in this environment. We have Exercise. Exile target artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater. That's what I was looking to do to get rid of that last enchantment at the last battle. Feather of Flight. Flash again, enchant creature. You get to draw a card when it comes in, and enchanted creature gets +1 and has flying. Which, this is kind of a limited environment type setting, so this is probably more useful and limited than constructed. Mabel's Medal. Target creature gets +2/+2 till end of turn. Up to one other target creature gets +1. Now, the fact that we're dealing with the mice and something whenever the creature becomes target of a spell or ability, this counts. So if we have like the Offspring, we've got both of those, right? So Mabel's Medal, we could stick 1+2/+2 on one of them, stick the +1/+1 on the other, and they would both each get the +1 until end of turn. But remember, it's all the mice you control, so they would both get +1/+1 for each of those activations. So they'd get whatever they got for the individual targeting of this instant, plus they would each end up getting a +2 to their strength as well for that turn. So everything synergizes quite nicely with the mice. Manifold Mouse, again, has Offspring, so if you can afford it for 4, you can have 2 of them. Beginning a combat, target mouse you control gains your choice of Double Strike or Trample. 3-tree Mascot, since it's a shapeshifter, it would also count as a mouse. But 2/1 Changeling, you can add 1 mana of any color, but you can only do it once per turn. It costs 1 to change the color. This color changing aspect shouldn't come into play that much. We're only playing with 2 colors. But the more useful might be that it counts as a mouse. Duskmourn spell, Glimmer Seeker, 3/3 with survival at the beginning of your second main phase. If it's tapped, you get to draw a card. If you don't, you get a 1/1 white Glimmer enchantment creature token. So something nice to chump block each turn. And if your opponent's not attacking, then you keep it around and you just get some card draw if you're managing to attack with the Glimmer Seeker each turn, or do something else to tap it. Hardened Escort, another Duskmourn 2/4 human soldier. Whenever it attacks, another target creature you control gets +1 and gains indestructible until end of turn. When you're dealing with double strike mice with haste, or maybe a vigilant haste mouse, you know what? Being indestructible is a nice little attribute to add to it. Just saying. Living Phone, when it dies, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with power 2 or less and put it into your hand. Patched Plaything, 4/3 with Double Strike, but it enters with 2 -1 counters on it if you cast it from your hand. This is the first time I've seen a -1/-1 counter in a long time. When you're on Arena, they color it red so that you can sort of make the difference between the +1 counters and the -1 counters. I'm kind of surprised that they did that because they don't like to mix the environments. They don't like to do -1 counters for the most part. This is the first time I've seen a -1 counter in a long time. So it's going to come down from your hand as a 2/1. But so for 3 mana, having a 2/1 Double Striker that does basically 4 damage if it gets through unscathed, not bad. There's probably only one spell in here that brings it back from the graveyard. So not a lot of graveyard synergy, but there is at least one way to do it in this deck. Thistledown Players, whenever it attacks, untap target non-land permanent. Most of the stuff that comes in Duskmourn wants you to have it tapped by the beginning of the second main phase. So at first blush, having an untap ability might not seem to work, but if you've got one creature that you want to attack with along with this, but you want it to still be a defender after, it's basically giving another creature vigilance, so it might be a different creature other than the ones with survival. Toby, Beastie Befriender. It's only a 1/1 human wizard, but it gets a 4/4 white beast creature token. That token is 4/4. It can't attack or block alone. As long as you control 4 or more creature tokens you control have flying. This is kind of some of the synergy between Bloomburrow and Duskmourn, because Bloomburrow is big on tokens, especially with the Offspring mechanic. So if you've been able to afford a couple of Offsprings, you can get to 4 tokens pretty easily if everybody's managing to hang around. One Trapped in the Screen, which is mostly like a Banishing Light, but with a ward 2 on it as well. It exiles artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. Seedglade Mentor, yet another mouse soldier. It's 3/2 with Vigilance and Haste, has Valiant. Whenever it comes target or spell, you get a +1/+1 counter on it, which is just like the Hardfire Heroes Valiant, actually. Unsettling Twins, when it enters Manifest Dread. And now this, you basically take the top 2 cards of your library, one goes onto the battlefield as a 2/2 creature. It's not like the Markov Manor, or I'm going to say that forever, listening to other YouTubers. The Murder at Karlov Manor, that gives you a 2/2 creature with Ward 2. This does not have the Ward 2, right, for when you're doing the Manifest Dread, but it does give you a face-down 2/2 creature. Normally you want to try and get a creature to do that, and then you're probably maybe throwing a land into the graveyard or a spell that otherwise you wouldn't be able to cast. Maybe you can get spells back from the graveyard later. Brambleguard Captain, say that 3 times fast. 2/3 Mouse Soldier, beginning combat, target creature you control gets +X until end of turn, where X is the Brambleguard Captain's power. So we're starting at 2, so automatically giving a +2, which, you know, if we manage to give double strike to somebody, imagine giving Seaglade Mentor +2, so you'd be a 5/2 double striker. Just one hit from these mice and you're half dead. Veteran Guard Mouse, Valiant as well. The ability, it gets +1 and first strike until end of turn, and you get to scry 1. Duskmourn again, Lionheart Glimmer, a 2/5 with Ward 2. This is nice to have a toughness 5 creature in this environment. Whenever you attack, creatures in control get +1/+1 till end of turn. If you can build up 4 or 5 creatures and then attack with this one, it's a pretty offensive line. And Shepherding Spirits, a 4/5 flyer for 6. Not the best, but if you're afraid that you don't have enough land up front, you can cycle it to get a plains out of the deck. They gave us 1 enchantment room in here. Surgical Suite. When you unlock the door, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard directly to the battlefield. We want to save that if we can for Patched Plaything, because then it will come into play right into the battlefield as a 4/3 double striker, which would be kind of cool if that lined up. And then we can unlock Hospital Room for 4. Whenever you attack, you put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature to just every turn have increasing value if they can't block it and stop it or kill it or that kind of thing. That is the deck, and if I went too fast, you can just pause the video. Let's go in and do a little bit more with Teeny Mice. This flavor text is talking about the survivors, probably the most controversial aspect of the Duskmourn expansion. The survivors are the part that came in with this 80s horror genre that seems that nobody's really happy with. Let's start with the tap land this time. Mascot. Well, hello. Looks like they might have a similar pack to us. I don't want to attack with that. I'd rather pump it up with counters rather than trade it with the mascot. Which means it's time for Blacksmith Talent. I do need 1 more land. You kind of do need 4 or 5 lands. 6 total, and you can cast everything. Oh, they got a defender. Okay, let's try the Unsettling Twins. So you get the 2/2, and then you get another 2/2, and that is not what I wanted. I guess we're just going ahead and making that our 2/2. We can't get those back. I was so hoping there would be a creature in there I could use. Okay, yeah, let's start with this whole thing. We get the sword, beginning we get it. Equip it here, that gives them a +1/+1 counter, and no attacks just yet. They could double block. But that makes a pretty good defender, actually. Nothing with power 4 or greater. We can plane cycle that. I'd rather just wait for a land and hard cast it. So Let's give equipped creatures double strike and haste. We'll attach it to the face down, which I don't mind whether I lose or not. And there we have a 3/3 double striker all of a sudden, which they can jump block if they want. But it'd be kind of hard to kill it unless they put a lot more creatures in its way. So maybe we're just starting a little war of attrition. They're going to keep blocking one creature as much as they can. That may give them the time they need to get more land and spells out, though. We want to try and force the issue soon. They do control an artifact, so are you going to stun my face down card? No, they're going to tap the Mentor. Okay, that makes sense. That does make sense. Ah, but we have this. Yikes. So we move it. Double strike and haste and evasion. Bam, dead. Half dead in one turn. This is the problem with haste. Haste is a very powerful mechanic. It should be obvious from the way that Mono Red uses it. It's primary in red. But you know what? White gets to use it when they're paired up together. And they don't have anybody who can block a flyer. So it kind of doesn't matter what they do after this, right? Here they've got their own haste. We don't care. The most they can do is what, 15 points? Or 16. No, because they already gave the bump up. They already gave the improvement there. So let's go ahead and block that puppy there, and we'll take 6. Call it a day. Automatically has double strike. We don't need to do anything else. We just submit 0. We attack from the air. That's another win. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to showcase this deck. There's no guarantee you'll be able to get Teeny Mouse when you go to jump in. Because they only offer you 3 decks at the first. Ooh, Beastie Beatdown. Do I have a copy of that yet? I think I might have one. I wonder if I can show the jump in. Bear with me a sec, and let me see if I can find the list that you can use as a resource. So this is the magicswizard.com, and if I can remember, I will go ahead and include a link. But let me show you just in between the battles here. Jump in packets update for Duskmorn. They give you the link to the entire image gallery for all of them. They show you about the lands that they're going to include. And then here they have links that go back to all of these others. These will pop up in the new browser windows that will give you all of the different decks for all the previous expansions as well, so you can see all of them. And there's actually another all-in-one page that I think is on a different website that we can have all of them. But here, these are all of the expansions that are still valid and that you can get packets for, and so you can go inspect each and every one of them. And here, for example, here's Sacrifice. You can just hover over them, and they're supposed to. There we go. They'll resolve the cards eventually, and you can sort of examine what you're going to get. And they also show you this packet variability, where some of the rare cards, they give you the percentage odds that they're going to appear as sort of what cards that you might be getting in the deck. There's a little bit of variation. And so this may be, if you want to use the jump in specifically to try and get cards that you don't have, or maybe there's a really good mythic rare that's in one of these that you might want to get, go look at these survival packet variabilities. So when you got those 3 decks that are 3 packets that are being shown to you, maybe you want Tyvar the Pummeler. Maybe that means you want survival. So if survival picks up, this is the one that you want to be collecting. That's the one that you're going to select. Other times, if you're not really trying to get a completion of your collection per se, but you're just trying to get a good jump in type thing, maybe that's not anything that you'll want to do at all. Maybe you just want to go through and, oh, I haven't gotten the room one before. I've done a lot of the others, but I haven't done room, so I'm going to get room, and we're going to experience that. Here's manifest. Yeah, let me get manifest room and see how that one works. When I first did these jump ins, like I said, I'll go ahead and include that link. And if I can find the other, I think there's another website, but I don't think that one's on wizards.com. It's another website where they give you every single one in one scrolling page list, so that they give you the packet variability, but they don't give you the full. Like I don't think they give you the full cards and everything unless you click on it to go to another link. But you could basically search for, if you get like manifest in room and revives, you could just type it in on the search bar and go down and check out the mythic rare cards and the rare cards and choose from there. So I'll include both of those links in the text below. But when I first did jump in, I did not understand the format. I picked 2 packs, and I think I kept that entire one through the entire duration of that session of jumped in for, I don't know how many weeks it lasted. I don't think we have a turn 2 play anyway, so yeah, playing a tap land is just fine. Which I liked the deck. There was a lot of things to it, but the jump in decks are kind of designed to be disposable. And instead I went for like a month or so just continually playing the exact same deck with jump in, and didn't experience any of the variability. So I've learned since then, although here I'm sticking with one deck for today, I've learned to appreciate trying these different combinations of half decks, and even if I've had one particular deck before, maybe I'll use it again if it gives me the chance to go ahead and experience something else. It is fun in this kind of environment to see what kind of combination that you can get off of certain cards that maybe you wouldn't have thought to put together in your own deck if you were constructing your own deck, or that maybe wouldn't come across in any of the pre-mades that Wizards assembles either. It's somewhat easier if you're just going to choose, if you get to, say, out of your choice of 6 decks, you manage to match up the same expansion. Those, it's a lot easier to assume that they're going to match each other very well, right? Let's see. Do I want to keep building? I can attack right now, right? Let's go ahead. Let's keep untapped land. We'll pay the offspring cost. And then we can go ahead and attack with our 3/3. And then this will give us the Glimmer creature. We need to get rid of this thing, don't we? I suppose I could have tapped that to give the +1/+1. But that's only one target creature out of everything. They've been doing good on the land draw. They can already get out Altanak. That's kind of nice. It is too bad that we have Exercise. They get to draw a card, but we exiled their 9/9. That is nice. Okay, so next is Hardened Escort. I don't have the mana to spare to tap that, to pay to tap that, so I just attack with this and this. And we get the card draw because we still have the Glimmer enchantment creature. Plus we now have good removal. This can only be sacrificed as a sorcery. That's good. But is this is something else that we need to consider getting rid of. Thankfully they just have cheap stuff in the graveyard. And they can't get rid of my Glimmer Seeker. They could get rid of one of these things. Okay. That makes as much sense as anything. A 5/3. Do they want to attack with that? I didn't think so. Okay, I have trapped with the screen. If I do that... Target of spell or ability. Okay, so what I think I want to do is I want to get rid of the 5/3. I want to pay to make this a 3/5, and then we want to attack with these 3, and we'll make that a +1. And this is indestructible, so they can chump block to save 4. They can get rid of the Glimmer enchantment, which still gives me a 1/1 chump blocker back without being tapped. Costs me nothing. So they chump block against the indestructible. They do get a food token out of it. And their squirrel gets pumped up more. But now, let's see. Manifest Dread and get 3 counters. I'm more worried about getting 4 of these 2/2 green spider tokens. They did it. They did it. They went and did it. Well, now what do we do? I think we do this. I think we do this. And no attacks. I don't really have a way to tap the Glimmer Seeker without attacking, I don't think, in this particular deck. What the heck? That was Igra, Eater of All. They had their Mythic Rare as their Manifest Dread creature. Isn't that just perfect for them? Yeah, they can afford to build up, can't they? I don't feel like I can attack safely. I was so happy about exiling Altenac. I didn't realize they had Altenac and Igra in the exact same deck. But one of those is Duskmourn and the other is Bloomberry. Oh no. Are they going to bring back Twitching Doll? They bring back Vine Reap Mentor, so they can get more food tokens to punch up the Eater above all. Okay, so I think I have to go ahead and chump block there. What else can we get rid of here? 3. Let's just block that way. They're tapped out, right? They can't do anything worse to me now than they've already been trying to do. These have reach as well, which means I can't go over their head with Shepherding Spirits either. And all I got was a land there, which means I'd be chump blocking a lot. It does not look good. They already have half a dozen other creatures. And they've got a lot more cards than I do. I am severely outgunned. And they must have removal in their hand. But I can make it fizzle, right? Because I can sacrifice that myself and gain 3 life. And this kind of doesn't matter because 1 hit from him, I'm dead no matter what. And I don't think I have time to mill out my opponent. They did not choose to mill themselves out there. Oh, aren't they having fun with their attacks? No. No. Okay. Oh, they changed their mind. They changed their mind again. It's not that hard. Oh my. Alright. I don't know what this is, so we'll get rid of it. We can block that one. We can block that one. We can block that one. What am I taking? 4 points? They lost 3 creatures. I kept my 3 blockers. And all we did was get a land. Thank you, Arena. Like, the odds weren't against me enough. And now I'm going to flood out with lands, multiple lands in a row. Seriously? All of those spells that my opponent got. And I'm going to outland them. They had the land ramp spell there. And they're just creating more. Outnumber me again already. Which they should be able to kill me in 2 turns. I can't imagine that I've got... I don't even think I have another removal spell that'll take care of this. Kind of shows you the limit. I've got 1 good removal spell there. The bear claw trap type thing is not going to be enough for that. They do seem to be having trouble trying to figure out how to do successful attacks, though, aren't they? If I could get a card with at least Offspring, I could develop another chump blocker each turn. Okay, we're going to put this little itsy bitsy mouse right in front of a 33-33. And this, they don't have a second Althanac, right? So they can't search Exile for it, so it's still gone for good. They keep getting pumped up for every creature I lose. Oh, look, I got a chump blocker. Nice. What is nice about that? Is my opponent just trolling me now? Yes, I got a mascot. It's so nice. I was supposed to be sacrificing these things, right? Hello. Why would they do that? You can't bump that up in any way, can you? Okay, so if I... Oh, I can't sacrifice that? I thought I could. I guess not. Alright, we lost our chump blocker. Eater of All is now 39-39. Oh, looky there. guess we do this, because it lets us scry 1. Feather of Flight. Can I do 17 points of damage with... No, because they still have the spiders that have reach, so that one's no good. I do have double strike. I could do a nice 10 points of damage. You know what? We're gonna do it. They can chump block easy enough. Yeah, I don't have anything to give it trample just yet. It's fine. Those are both gonna die. Which is one more than I'd be able to kill if I'd kept it on defense, so... How are we doing? 11 cards left? Yeah, I don't think I can last 11 more turns. They went and got more life. They got scared. I got them under 20. They're such an underdog. Okay, Saga Vivant. Come on. Speed this up a little bit. He's milling 3 cards. He's got... Okay, I only need to last 6 turns now. I could do that. Right? I've only got... How many more lands do I have in the deck? I got 8 more lands I could pull coming up. What did they get? A squirrel wear. Okay, great. So even with that, they still managed to get somebody. Okay, Patch Plaything is going to be blocked. Be the blocker. Not very daring, are they? They could have... Of course, the other times when they tried to send other attackers, it didn't go so well for them. Okay. Excellent. Can we attach it here and still give it a +5? Hardfire Hero is good. And now we attack with both of those. That's going to be indestructible. We're still alive. Ah, they still got another creature out of all this. How many? 4, 7, 8, 9 lands. How many lands did they able to throw away already? 2. That's only 11 lands. Does that mean their last 5 draws are all useless lands? Okay, I'm taking 6. They finally decided they can afford to attack. me scry. Bear Trap is not good enough. What do you do, opponent? Death Touch gets rid of the little beastie. You didn't need that. Does that matter? Okay. We got rid of 2 more creatures. We got them half dead again. Unfortunately, they can gain 3 life just by sacrificing each of these. And I have to block Egret Eater of All at 61-61 with my 1/1. Oh, never mind. They're just going to attack in with it. No, okay, he's going to do both. I need something that gives me trample. And an extra 3 points of damage. All in 1 card. It's a land. It's a land. Okay, we're done. Thanks, Arena. Oh. Okay, that wasn't fun for me. That was torture the entire way. I held out as long as I could. A land. If I'd been able to trick them somehow into tapping all their mana, I could have used the Bear Trap to take out the last defender, and then I could have got in for the final 10 points of damage, but I don't think there was really a way for me to do that. And you could argue that I could afford to keep this in secrecy for a little while, because it's a flash spell, but we're just going to show our hand. We will do the mascots. And I think we're willing to plane cycle if we miss a land drop this early on. And I don't think it's an accident that they did Duskmourn coming up so closely after Wilds of Eldraine. Eldraine had a nice little enchantment focus. Duskmourn has all these enchantment runes. Okay, do we bother with that? I don't think we do. I'm going to pass. I need 3 mana to activate the Bear Trap. The bigger threat is Razzle Dazzler over the longer term, because it can outscale the 3 damage, whereas I might be able to just chump block with the Sterling Hound. So let's just pass. Opponent also makes their land drop. And another big creature down. I'm not quite matching what the opponents already managed to get down in terms of opponents with power and toughness. Man, whenever they actually do get an enchantment down, I'm in trouble. So we can't even block a 3/4 yet. But they didn't want to go for that. Do they have a counterspell? Let's send a 5/3 at them. They take it! I get a chump blocker. Oh no, we get to guard it. Wait. Blah 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 if you control a glimmer creature. Who's Glimmer? Shapeshifter counts as a glimmer creature. I get card draw. Sweet! Okay, Duskmourn, Bloombarrow Synergy right there. I never would have thought to partner these two cards together. Instead of getting a 1/1 chump blocker, I got card draw already by having the mascot out ahead of time. Fulfills the requirement for Glimmer Seeker. I like that better. Although I do need some land. They don't have anybody to block flyers, right? Where's their enchantments in the deck? Okay, we'll put it on top. We'll put it on top. That has summoning sickness, so that doesn't do any good. We're going to do the same thing again. Attack for 5. Will you chump block? Or will you take 5 points and go to half death? They go to half death. I get a card draw. Wasn't land. Shoot. We're kind of okay. If they don't have interaction, I can just go over their head. What do they want to get? They want to get the Jailbreak Scheme and keep bouncing my stuff? They saddle it, gives it flashback. They've got enough mana to spend on it. So they do... What? They do nothing? What? Do I have the ability to cast 2 spells? Yes. Okay. So this I can live without. Do you counterspell it? They let that go. Okay. Well, in that case, if that worked, we pump up the hero. Now they should be willing to trade at this point. Stop me from getting the card draw. Okay. I don't consider that a bad trade because if I get one more land, I've still got a flyer. But they were starting to build up a critical mass where they could kill me in a couple of turns. Ugh, they just get it back. Stronger than ever. And they get to look ahead. Ugh, tapped me too. Because the enchantment, the aura rolls an enchantment, so they get to scry, they get to tap a creature an opponent controls. Now they got to figure out, do you have another spell that's going to tap me down or something? Or let's see. They could just power up the Slumbering Keep Guard. Or they could saddle that. Wait a second. They did nothing. Okay. Well, let's try this. The phone or double strike. Everything goes on the Heartfire Hero. This one's for all the biscuits. Can you stop it? What do you got? I don't think they have it. Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't have had to stop it. If one of those two spells would have, like, unsummoned this or bounced it or in any way affected it. Ta-da! So, the nice little Glimmer Seeker 3-tree mascot combo got me card draw. Got me to the Heartfire Hero from Bloomburrow with the Feather of Flight. And then it was all Bloomburrow synergies from there, with one Mouse Soldier dealing the fateful damage. We'll go in and show you this one more time. So the cool thing about this is 40 cards, right? If you're going to make a full deck out of this, it's pretty easy, right? You go up to add in 8 or 9 more lands. Let's call it 9. Go up to 25 lands. So you have to 49 cards. Then you have 11 more cards from which to choose. All you need is maybe a little bit more, a couple of interaction cards, a couple more mice, and I don't know, maybe have an extra 3-tree mascot and have an extra, where is it? Have an extra Glimmer Seeker, just for the card draw type possibilities. So it's kind of nice when you have a deck that seems to have some pretty good synergy. You can sort of, if you already possess these cards, right? If you've already done that particular jump in event, then you can go look at the rest of your collection, go ahead and add this to your deck, and then you just build it out, change the format, and turn it into a regular deck. If you're having as much fun with it as I was having with this one, I am winning more often than I'm not with this, and it's fun for me just because, like I said, I never would have thought to pair up Glimmer Seeker with 3-tree mascot, but the Shapeshifter ability automatically fulfills the Glimmer creature enchantment requirement. The Shapeshifter is a Glimmer. It counts as a Glimmer. Even though it's not a token, even though it's an actual regular artifact creature. But notice this is where the rules text becomes important, and I don't know if this is accident of design or how purposeful this is, because remember, the designer teams, they're making hundreds of these cards. But when you look at the rules here, draw a card if you control a Glimmer creature, not a Glimmer creature token. If you don't control a Glimmer creature, create a 1/1 white Glimmer enchantment creature token. So it tells you to create the token because that's the way you get the actual creature out. They're not going to let you create an entire creature. When you create something off of Glimmer Seeker, it's got to be a token. So that's natural with the way that they would write that into the rules. But because it's not asking if you control a Glimmer creature token, it's not asking if you control a token, it's asking if you control a Glimmer creature. So the Shapeshifter counts as a Glimmer creature. So interesting little way that these cards combined create a nice little combination that I probably never would have found out on my own. This is why you experiment with jump-in decks. That, and because I don't have some of these cards yet, and so I actually use this to try and fill in my collection as well sometimes. So those are some hints for you newer players. Are there anything else that you guys use Jump In for? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. What other reasons do you like Jump In, or do you have problems with the format? As always, we ask you to like and subscribe. We thank our Patreon subject, and we'll have something new for you next time. But we hope you enjoyed this one. I don't do Jump In a lot. Let me know if you do want to see other Jump In type videos if I come across some good pack combinations that I think would be exciting. Let me know if you want to see more of the Jump In type decks. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to the regular Modern Standard for the most part, is my bread and butter. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.